Yeah. What it do? This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I'm back, not in the studio today. It's getting cold here in Tampa. I know it's 50 something degrees, but man, you know, it feels a little cold, man. I think my blood is thinning out. I'm here with my partner Kevin Carr, Mr. Career Crossover in the house. You know what? Yo, Bezel, my producer, we gotta get that squeaking of the feet. So when I say that, we just gotta press the play when I say career crossover. All right. So do that for me, Bezel. I need that done for next week. But anyway, I got my partner in crime, Kevin Carr, in the house, Mr. Pro, the CEO. What it do, baby? What it do?
Hey, man, it's good to be back. Cyrus on the road, trying to take care of fam. You know how it is. But I'm also with my man, 50 grand from the Northeast down to the mid-central Florida, Joel Sylvain, better known as Brooklyn's
in the house. That's right, baby. No doubt. Yes, we are in the place to be, man. Listen, there's been some snowstorms up north, boy. People are feeling it. So, you know, we've been experiencing our rain down here, but it's all good. But I just want to, you know, our guest that we have today is pretty incredible, and I want to kind of I want to focus our attention on the Pro to CEO 9 medallions, which stands for champions. And when I look at the individual that we're gonna bring in today for our show, you know, opportunism is what I see, right? And we're gonna discuss that a little bit later on. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment. I'm going to start off with the music side.
Go ahead.
And the reason why I want to start off with the music side today is I just been having some great conversations with some folks in the industry. We was going to have her as a guest tonight, but we're going to reschedule. I might want to push her back for Women's Month, only because, you know, this future guest has worked with Queen Latifah, Flavor Unit. She's the one that actually was running the whole shebang when Flavor Unit had a management company, the production company with Living Single, the TV shows, the movies. I mean, the record label, of course, when she handled Shaq back in the days. So you probably met up with her, Kevin, back in the days. But, you know, we were just talking about the state of Black music. And one of the things, and then I had a great conversation today with another record executive. She was a guest on our show, Allison Gabriel. And we talked about it's time for us to not necessarily reclaim Black music, but really take ownership and pride of the product that we put out in terms of soulful songs and music. And she just recently signed a band over at Hidden Beach Records, right?
Love that label.
Yeah, Hidden Beach is now distributed through Universal Records, and so she's looking for artists. And so this is what I'm going to challenge folks, because remember, this show is about making power moves, and I want to help our audience, young and old, to make power moves. With that being said, if you are looking to create a record label, you want to get into the music industry, get into management, whatever case may be, I will offer some time to help you put it together, get a deal done with my connections in the industry, because right now we need good talent. Folks are looking for, you know, artists between the ages of, you know, 16 to about 25. They don't want anybody older than about 25. But folks that can play instruments.
Man, I can't get in.
No, you can't get in.
What?
But folks that can play instruments. And the reason why I say, especially the folks that play instruments and can sing, you know, back in the days, Black churches is where all our artists came from. Because that was true soul music. You know, gospel, when you went to church, you know, and you listened to the word, you are touched, right, by the word, and it touches your soul, and that's what makes it relevant, and that's the reason why they can translate that to a regular song, which now you can feel a song when you listen to older music. Well, we don't say older, vintage music, seasoned music, right? You can feel what they were saying. You can hear the agony. You can close your eyes and be immersed in the story. And we've kind of gotten away from that on the hip hop side. And hip hop was the same way. When hip hop came about, we had the music that we sampled from R&B, and then we told our stories. Now it's become more commercialized. But what I'm paying attention to and I'm noticing in the music side is that there's this undercurrent of this new R&B that's out there. That's very avant-garde. That's very, contemporary. Definitely are open-minded in terms of the topics, but the music has a feel. The only difference that I am, if I was can consider myself what's called an artist and repertoire, that I like to see more in some of this music because it all sounds like the same Drake type songs where it just stays in the same pocket. I want to hear. I would like to hear a bridge. I would like to hear a change. Like when you hear the song and then all of a sudden there's a change coming up when you listen to other music. That's the only thing that I would say. But other than that, the songs, the choruses are on point, and so I think this is an opportunity. Especially, Black churches is losing a lot. I mean, not just Black churches, but churches in general are losing their congregations because they're not in tune with the youth. I think Black churches has a great opportunity to really recapture that and get these kids to play instruments again, getting involved in the choir, getting involved in the band so that we can get real music again. All right. So that's my thing for the music game, because right now content is king, and between TikTok, where imagine if you can play your music on TikTok, that's your own music, that's your own publishing, and then you can get that thing streaming over and over again. Potentially you can have an advertising campaign, whatever the case may be. So that's my take. What's in the world of sports? Because there's a lot going on there.
Well, I will say that just add to your overview, which was excellent in terms of music. We are losing the ability for kids to naturally play instruments and fall in love with music.
Yes.
And what music was back then, because there's so many more opportunities, I would say, that can interest a kid, that music is just kind of falls in there. Most people want to be on the entertainment side, out front on a mic, let alone they can make sounds on a keyboard. But to truly play an instrument with your hands or with your mouth and stuff, that's very, very far and few between. And I will say more schools are doing less of that because of cutbacks and band programs, and actually having enough teachers to teach they're just the supply and issues are all over the place as to why we're not where we need to be with original people who can play music with their hands and mouth and compose and all that other stuff. That's a whole nother show, brother. But I will say is the biggest thing going down is, will the NFL be able to produce a wonderful ending like they did in the playoffs? I don't know. We look to have a very good matchup. We got the blue collar Midwest Cincinnati folks going out to the sun and fun LA with the glamour and the sunglasses and the oils and the tans and this plastic surgery. Whether or not which one will win, we don't know yet. I'm thinking due to a lot of things, I've heard a lot of challenges with pulling off the event, COVID restrictions, a lot of things that traditionally would have been done have been tapered down. But as you know, you can't hold good people down. They're going to find a way to have that event. They're going to find a way to do some of the extras that happen around it. But from a business standpoint, very interesting to see whether or not the revenues, this is a new huge debut for the stadium that most people have not seen. So this really brings out some of the new nuances of the big business of sport, how much it's evolved. I think you're going to really see a game that has not been technically as advanced in so many angles and so many new opportunities to showcase a game. It's going to be interesting. So the business aspect, I really want people to pay attention. The entertainment will be there, but there will be so many other nuances from ads, marketing, some of the replays that will be first time that we're seeing. So this is going to be very, very interesting. The players will be heavily involved in bringing us more entertainment than we've seen. So look out for that. So we'll see. But the other aspect is a challenge with the NFL and its coaching. We know that there's like 2 spots left. There have been at least a half a dozen or more spots open, and or a little bit under half a dozen, and excuse me, a little bit over half a dozen. And now we're down to 2. We don't know whether a coach of color will be selected. This again continues to be an area of concern for the NFL. I will say when you look across the sports, the big 4, the NBA has done the most to diversify with 14 coaches of color, 14 particularly African American coaches. No matter whether you like the NBA or you love the other sports, you cannot deny the fact that they are trying to put people of color in leadership positions, which is of the times. I'd like to see the other leagues at least get to a point where they're giving people a chance to have a seat at the table and lead. We understand that ownership, having been in sport, we understand ownership from the top looks at who they'd like to represent their business. So people don't get it twisted. Leagues don't make decisions on coaches. The team and the owners do.
Right.
So when people make decisions, they generally make decisions that they like or feel most comfortable because it's their money and their business. Generally, a football, basketball, baseball, soccer business is probably a second or third or fourth business down because these people are extremely wealthy, okay? So this is an extracurricular fun business for most people who own these teams. They've been handed down forever. Teams and owners generally make their money elsewhere. So when these decisions are made, they're generally made because of preferences and not strategically because it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying. All right, that's my take. Let's get into the show. And I'm looking forward. We got to pay some bills almost.
But well, just to let you know, update, Lovie Smith just got hired at as the Texans head coach.
Okay, Lovie's back in the game.
Lovie's back in the game.
I missed that. That happened when did it go down?
It just went down. I would say maybe an hour or 2 hours ago. Something like that.
Man, should have been okay. So Lovie gets the chance to represent so far.
Lovie gets a chance to represent, and Mr. Flores said, "I hope it was not because of me, but I'm happy to see that he got his spot." So, at least there's making some form of progress, right? So we shall see what happens next.
Yes.
So we got to get ready to go on break. My guess is can't wait to get on. I know you're chomping on the bit, but we're going to get you right after the break because we got to pay some bills, and then we're going to introduce you, and then we're going to go right into the money segment. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We'll see you after the break in 2 and 2. Take it away, Basil. All right, we back. We back.
All right.
So this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We got a gentleman here locally here in Tampa Bay. Let me tell you about this man. This man is passionate about helping commercial and residential customers achieve more of the American dream by becoming real estate investors and homeowners. He's proactive, analytical, and he gets the job done. And that's his approach when it comes down to real estate. In 2007, he began investing in the real estate market, purchasing and renovating homes in the Tampa Bay and Miami areas. He received his broker's license. So he upgraded his skill set in 2013 because he loves working with a group of highly skilled agents specializing in providing quality, not quantity, but quality responsive real estate services through his Carmina and Associates Realty Group and Paynite Services Global. He now has a new construction company called Blue Vista Homes, which is building new affordable homes in the Tampa Bay area, which is a hot topic within Tampa Bay, is affordable housing. In addition to that, he strongly believes in giving back by hosting a Corner Class Tampa, cornerclasstampa.com, which is 100% free masterclass to teach new investors how to start and win in real estate. As I told you, this is Power Moves. This is a masterclass. We're not playing over here. We're going to get you wealthy. And he's a GTAR military ambassador. In other words, the greater Tampa Bay area military ambassador providing real estate services to the servicemen stationed at MacDill Air Force Base. By the way, he's also a veteran. So he transferred from being a veteran to being a boss. And when he's not busy, he's volunteers at his local church, Bible Base, which is where we met. He also serves food banks. He's also involved in the Urban League, which coming up March 4th is a fundraising dinner you need to attend. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. David Carmina, the author, developer, educator, entrepreneur, the man with the master plan with the online streaming television station. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
what it do, baby?
How you guys doing?
We doing super fantastic, man. We not like you though. We trying to be like you, boss.
Well, I'm honored to be here. I want to thank you, you guys for reaching out, let me on your show. It's a true honor.
Excellent. Well, David, man, how have you been doing this past year, especially the past 18, almost 20 months now?
Almost going on 2 years.
Almost going on 2 years, really, right? With everything that's going on with COVID, how have you fared?
Well, to be honest, the first couple of years was pretty tough. 2020 was not my friend. 2021, though, I've learned to pivot and embrace where we are now. And that, I think that was the key, because 2021 was my breakout year. And I think that I would not have achieved the success I've achieved if I didn't have the time to really think and really strategize in 2020. So I used the COVID to strategize, to retool my business plan so that I can succeed in 2021. So, and I really think that if you think about it, a lot of people pivoted in 2020, and 2021 became a little bit better. And now the things that I thought maybe in 2020 with respect to commercial space, how much do I really need office space? Do I really need to have this tool in place that's maybe is not a web or cloud related tool? I don't really need that. What I need now is the ability to work globally. And I would not have thought that way a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Wow, that's interesting. So one of the things I'm trying to figure out is, you said your best year, 2021. That was when everybody was struggling, man. What did you do to actually pivot and make money?
I kind of retooled everything within the business plan. Um, and in real estate, we had a little buffer. It's not like the people stopped buying homes in 2020. It was a real slowdown. But in 2021, they realized that the world is not coming to an end. The rates were still good. We were in a buyer's market. That's true. But then all of the other services around real estate were still hot. So if you think about the real estate transaction, well, you buy a house, but that's not it. You have title services that are associated with the purchase of the house. You have to inspect the house. You have loan services that's part of that. And if you can tap into those markets and partner with people in those markets, then that can supplement your main gig. Additionally, we have a company that does property management. So a lot of our investors was taking advantage of the market by selling their property. So the properties that we had under property management just reached out to the absentee owners or investors and say, hey, listen, you can now, you bought that home from me in 10 years ago. Now you can get 120% on your investment. Would you consider selling? Most of them said yes. So that's how I was able to work the game.
Okay, so in other words, you leverage your time to evaluate your portfolio. How important is it to understand what you have in your portfolio and inventory? Can you explain to folks when it comes down to real estate? One of my mentors taught me a long time ago, don't look at real estate as a shelter. Look at real estate as inventory. Explain that concept, please.
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit further. I have an engineering degree and had a consulting company using my engineering degree. And to be quite frank, I didn't make any real money from that. I made residual income. That's the key to the game, is making residual income. We call it mailbox money. Mm-hmm. I made all my money, all my residual income from real estate. I became independently wealthy through real estate. Mm-hmm. And that's why I am so passionate about helping people to play the game, because a lot of traditional people with these degrees, and nothing against it, but I think that they should have a real estate component to their overall portfolio. I think that's key. If you look at all of the truly wealthy people, a lot of them, their base is real estate. Elon Musk, he owns what, 400 or 500 million, and he's a billion. I forgot how many billions he have. I know he got some money from me because I drive a Tesla, but but a lot of people stabilize their income through real estate, and that's what I. So when you think about evaluating your portfolio, you're thinking about, well, what type of real estate investor do you really want to be? And they really fall into a couple of different pockets here. You have the buy and hold people, which is you have that residual income. You have the fix and flip people, and then you have the people that play what's called the equity game, where you buy a house, you fix it up, you live in a house, you fix it up, you wait till the house appreciates, and then you sell it, and then you go to the next one. So you're working that ladder. A person usually fall into one of those three camps, and you want to evaluate your portfolio based on where you are. What is the end game? Do you have a steady income and you just want to make some money? Well, that's one level. If you have a income where, okay, I have a steady income, I'm thinking about retiring, and so now I'm going to buy a house every couple of years and use that money, the residual income from my retirement. Well, that's another exit point. So it's again what you want to do how do you want real estate to work for you?
Go ahead, Kev.
I mean, a lot of people would say they can't get in the game, and I'm stick to the money question, is because they don't have money. We're almost moving to an economy now where it's either you have or you don't. It's becoming more of the haves versus the have-nots. So when
that's true,
there's more month left in money for a lot of people these days, or for a lot of people have a lot more abundance. I'm talking to the people who are sort of trying to break out of that mindset of I don't have any money. How did you get your first monies? And if you don't have a lot of resources like some people don't these days. How can they even get in the game if they don't have any money
Right.
to
Right.
get into the game?
Right. So my case was a little unique. I sold my company and I had money from the sale of
Okay.
the company.
Right.
But let me tell you how you can get into the game. And this is what Corner Class Tampa is all about: is how to play the game with no or little money, to if you have some money. And I focus on, okay, I have no money. This is the case. I have no money. How do I play the game? I have a little money. How can I play the game? And then I have some money. If you have no money, then what you do is that it's all about partnering with someone who has money, or being a bird dog for someone who does have money. Example: buyers like myself and other people are always looking to buy property that makes sense, that they can make a little money on, and we will pay a person to give us that property or bring that property to us. It's called a bird dog. And so if there is a property that in your area that you think is would be attractive to a buyer, someone who actually have money, then you present that, we will pay you a fee. Usually a fee is somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000. So you become a bird dog for a couple of people. You It's called sweat equity. You get out there, you look for opportunities, you present that opportunity to a buyer, and we pay you money on that. You get enough money, you get 4 or 5 properties that you have bird dog for a potential buyer. Now you have $10,000. You get someone else, another partner has $10,000. You get family and friend that have $10,000. Now you have $30,000, and you're ready to play the game. So leveraging and partnering is key when you have no money. And quite frankly, leveraging and partnering, no matter what level you are, you need to become very skillful at that. Because even if you have $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, most likely the project that you want to buy is more than that, and you want to partner with other like-minded individuals to take down that property. You never want to use your own money. You want to use your own money as a last resort, because you want to leverage your money to have multiple jobs. If you have one job, you have $100 million, and you buy one apartment complex and it's $100 million, you only buy that one. But if you partner with other individuals, and now you're putting $30,000, well, now you can buy 4 apartment complexes. And that's what you want to do, is you want to work with other individuals to leverage your money.
Excellent. Well, on that point, we talking about leverage. We're going to leverage our platform so we can pay some bills with the commercials. So once again, this is Power Moves, with celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We're here with the boss, David Carmina, here talking to us about this real estate game. We'll see you after the break. 2 and 2.
Hey, fellas, am I going too deep?
Nope.
That's perfect, because a lot of our people don't know how to even get in the game. So breaking it down is essentially the power move. That's why the show is showing how to people how to make moves. You're perfect. Love it.
We are back. We are back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influence executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We just came out of the break just talking about the money moves and how you can kind of get into real estate. And just as a quick recap, even if you don't have money, focus your attention on being what's called a bird dog, right? And so remember earlier in the conversation, as I introduced David, our real estate boss, and then some, he does have his class. So we will review that at the end of the show to summarize where you can take on that masterclass so you can start bird dogging even if you don't have any money. Get your kids involved. Get your kids involved and get this money. Right. So now we're going to go into this power segment, brother. So you came into Tampa Bay, what year, 2007?
No, I actually went to USF. So I was in the Navy in Pensacola, Florida. I wanted to finish my engineering degree, and I went to USF. I started in the real estate game in 2007, but I had a consulting company prior to that.
Okay, so you got your degree at USF, and you had your engineering consulting company,
right? And
you built up your pedigree, your influence. How did you do it? Because you went from, you're still somewhat in the same industry, but not quite, right? So how did you decide to pivot, sell your company, and put all your chips into a dream?
Well, that was pretty interesting, actually. Initially, I didn't have an idea that real estate would be it. Prior to me starting my company, I was in the Navy. I worked on computers. I wanted to finish my computer engineering degree. It was taking forever, doing it part-time. Decided to get out, go to the USF, and with the idea that I would just rejoin the military. In my senior year, I got my first big break. A doctor that I was working for hired me to put in network for his company. So I made a little money, and I said, wow, if I can make, a little money doing this, and I can do this in my sleep, this is kind of it. Started off at USF working for the doctors that I worked for as a student. Started winning contracts, statewide USF contracts that I can then use to sell throughout the state. So back then, if any government entity put you on a contract, usually these contracts are 6 months, you can sell it to other universities and other government entities throughout the state. So I won a ton of those, started doing more, and my company was growing exponentially. Just got burned out. I was doing it 11 years in the Navy, and at that point I was 8 or 9 years into my consulting company. I was 18, 19 years in, and I was just so burned out, you could not pay me enough to continue. At that point I realized that, maybe it's time to sell my company, which I did. I played golf for 2 years, literally 2 years straight, 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. On Sunday, I would go to Bible base, and if I could make it back to the golf, my body held up, I would go right back to the golf course. I mean, it was great. A friend, her sister got sick, and she had a home in Miami, and she decided, I was the only one who had cash. Over time, they contacted me and say, David, would you buy the house? No, I'm playing golf. David, would you buy the house? No. Then I finally got the phone call. Hey, listen, the bank is at the door. This was the first of the month. If you don't buy the house and help the family out, then the bank is going to get it by the end of the month. So I said, okay, I'll go to Miami. I'll fund everything, and then we'll just split the profits so you can use the profits for your long-term care. That was my introduction to real estate, and wow. It was really just a transaction for me. It was a business transaction. I had no intention of making it my career. As soon as I finished the house, the market crashed. I had the house appraised. I had the house appraised for 205,000. I was about 140 in. I said, okay, it'll be a little money. It seemed like the next day the market crashed and it was worth $87,000. I kid you not. And I was like, wow, I'm going to lose my shirt on this. And then, I decided to rent it. This was 13 years ago. Because I was buying things at 20 cents, 30 cents on a dollar, I bought more and more properties. And that's how I started the real estate game. But again, it was just a business transaction. It did not become personal to me and not become real to me until I helped this one individual. She was a disabled Marine veteran, 100% disabled, looked perfect on the outside, but man, she was sick. No one would help her. She had all kinds of crazy. It's what we call in real estate a hairy deal. All kinds of craziness going on. I helped her, and when we closed on this house, which was a perfect house for her, that's when I realized that I was helping out. It was a service. I was providing a service, and that's when it became real to me. When I helped her.
So, in other words, you found power in providing service.
Being of service, yeah.
Being of service.
Yeah. I'm a religious guy, I kind of skirted it. I wanted to keep it just a business transaction. And I realized that this is my purpose. And that's why I am so passionate about helping people play the game. I really am. Most of the things, the class that I teach, I'm teaching the class. And I'm giving 15 years of experience. I'm talking about Corner Class Tampa. I'm giving 15 plus years of experience for free to aspiring individuals. I have focus group. I have people that consult with me that pay for nearly that same information, and they're paying for, let's just say it's not free. So I'm really, really, really passionate about trying to help people play the game, because that's how you can build your legacy. That's how you can provide for your family. That's how you can get people stop begging at the doggone street corner and do something to provide for their family. That's how. So
with that being said, I know Kevin had to step out and stuff. So with that being said, David, is your corner class your nonprofit? Is that like a nonprofit? And that's number one. The second question is, are you targeting our people?
100%. I'm targeting 100% our people. The idea for corner class is literally, the name comes from, I was just going to take an easel and a chair and go to East Tampa and sit down and start teaching real estate, on a corner. And of course, COVID hit, and so you couldn't really do that. So I took that same concept to the web, and I am 100% targeting our people. The questions that I get are live questions, real questions that I respond to, and then I pick a scenario. Okay, today we're going to talk about, fix and flip. Today with no money. Tomorrow we may talk about something else. We're talking about getting, if you have a little money. Now you want to make this a business, and these are the things that you need to do to meet that need. So it is 100% targeted to us. It's all about us, and I'm spending time to talk about that. I've made a lot of money to people to millionaires who, that's not my target audience. No shade. If you make money, that's great. That's not my target audience. My target audience for this corner class is people who are just starting and want to learn how to play the game and not lose their money.
It's interesting. There are a lot of people who are wanting to come into this market. Florida in general, no state income tax, obviously moving to the areas that we're in, it seems quite attractive. What are some of the things that you would say to, Joel, and I have friends up north, they're saying, oh man, it's looking kind of good down there. You guys are brilliant for moving to Florida, years ago, and we're actually, experiencing this influx. I mean, there seems to be market shortages. People are saying there isn't enough inventory. What is true? What is the reality of trying to come into a semi-hot market or very hot market, and people are paying either high or low? What should they be thinking about as they are wanting to assume and take advantage of owning, because it seems inventory is moving quickly?
Right. Okay, so we are definitely in a seller's market, no doubt about it, and we're still in a seller's market. So, a so are we talking about investors or are we talking about buyers?
I'm talking about buyers who are now coming out of COVID. They're seeing that maybe some of the restrictions, they don't want to be as restricted, and they're thinking about, hey, I want to be here. What do you, I mean, you're an expert in the state of Florida, so what could there be some advice? Particularly, I'm hearing from people who are looking to really engineer and restart their lives. So these are people who've had jobs, they're putting it all into coming this way, and they're wanting to kind of say, hey, I think I want to be here.
Right, absolutely. Well, Florida, Tampa in particular, is one of the top destinations of people traveling to the state of Florida. So it really is good. It is a seller's market, which means that potential buyer should expect to pay top dollar and have multiple people competing for that particular property.
And I'm glad you said that. There's a lot of people who don't know when they say seller's market. So I'm glad you explained that. Like can you explain the other side of buyer's market, seller's market, then go into your question? Because we're certainly hearing that a lot more.
Absolutely. So a seller's market is when you don't have a lot of inventory on the market. So the seller of that property who put it on the market couldn't expect a premium for its property. Usually sellers, when they put their property on the market, it may be slightly inflated over the market value, maybe 2 to 5%. And you would negotiate down from that price and kind of get a discount if you're a buyer. Well, that's not the case of a seller's market. They put it on the market, 5 hours later, they have 15 bids all over asking price. And so it really is an advantage to the seller. Especially if you're in a prime location, you're in South Tampa, you in West Chase, you in anywhere downtown around the Water Street area. You're in one of those prime areas. You can expect multiple offers for your property very quickly. A buyer's market is when there's plenty of inventory on the market, and now that same seller will now put their home on the market. The buyer can negotiate down from their asking price to something under that, maybe 5 to 10%, a couple 2 to 5% under whatever their asking price is, and then negotiate terms. You got to repair this, or this got to be, I like this to be done, and maybe you can paint this for me. You get none of that in the seller's market. You barely get a chance to negotiate. What 20,000 over. I sold I have a Carmina Acquisitions, which have a company that does rehab, and the last property we did, all of our properties are really nice, but the last property that we did, we actually sold for $30,000 over the asking price.
Wow. $30,000 over the asking price.
Wow,
man! If only we can get $30,000 worth of commercials. So on that note, we got to pay some bills, but we're going to come back into our respect segment and touch on a little bit about the different markets. I like to continue on the topic of, from an investor's standpoint, how do you maneuver in a situation like that, right? Yeah. So please explain that. But once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. You know what? This is a great segment for some of those clients that you have, Kevin, to partner up with a David, as well as a couple other folks, to understand how to really maximize on this. Once again, you can only hear this on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break. All right, we back. We back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We talked about the power segment in last segment on the importance of focusing on what your purpose is, because that influence is what's going to provide legacy. Legacy is such a major power move. So I want to applaud you, David, on that. But let's go into our respect segment, because you talked about how, buyer's market and seller's market from a retail perspective. Tell us, what does an investor respect when it comes down to, and how do they make money, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market?
Right. So the fundamental of investing is you buy low, sell high.
Mm-hmm.
You buy low, sell high. You never buy at a premium. It's funny. Prior to this meeting, I had an investor call with my group at 6:00, and we talked about the market. I gave an overview of the Tampa Bay area market, and quite frankly, it's too hot for an investor. So we're not buying unless it is a distressed situation that there are certain parameters that I look for when I greenlight a project. So in most cases, we're not buying in the Tampa Bay area, in the Tampa market, but we're buying outside of the Tampa market. So that's the sweet spot. The areas just outside of the prime Tampa market. Now, we're not buying in the hood, but we're buying in those emerging areas. That is the opportunity in the Tampa Bay area for investors. So again, rule number one: buy low, sell high. And so if we can't buy low, then that's not a good move for us,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're looking at. So, and then also land prices. Land prices are just too high for single family homes. If you want to, we're trying to provide a decent home for a working class individual, medium to just above median income, low income. That's our sweet spot. That's the segment I want to serve. That is my perfect client. I am not trying to build a $700-800 million home for someone else. I'm trying to build something for us, a decent home that could be a starter home or a great working class family home, which means that I have to operate in a certain price point.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that everything that goes into selling that home, the materials, the land, all have to fit into a certain price point so that the end product can be under this certain price point, and then my investors and myself can make money. And so that is our challenge. And right now, in certain prime areas, the land price is just too high. So we're not building in the prime areas. We're looking at areas outside.
I'm wondering if there are, like you mentioned, communities that are not as desirable. Is there a strategy to buy there? Meaning, like, if they are considered, in the hood, or maybe there are communities that are I would say, diverse, and they are low income houses, but it's on that edge of regentrification as we're all hearing about. What are some of the things I think I'm hearing, at least, that there are communities where you can get in and buy, and as a new person who wants to own a home, let's say they are interested in looking in those communities, is that a smart move for them? Are there concerns? Because you mentioned you're not going there. What are some of the things that someone needs to look out for? Because maybe they have to buy there because they don't have the money, or maybe they're buying because they want to be part of the regentrification.
Okay, so again, if we're looking at it from individual buyer, and you got to look at it through two lenses. I'm an individual buyer or I'm an investor. Okay, if I'm an investor, then you can be on the fringe, but now you got to basically buy the block. You don't want to have one good home in a row of in a war zone. Okay, so I'm not picking on any area, but you want to do a block at a time. And if you can't do a significant bite at a time, then you're really kind of wasting your money, in my opinion. As a homeowner, you run into a safety issue. If you have to, break out your vest to go home every day. I went to one. I can tell you a story. This is a true story. The area wasn't that bad, to be honest with you, but it was kind of on the edge. And so I go there. I'm a young real estate agent. I get a phone call, come list my home type of phone call. So sure, I'll come over there. So I'm driving out there. I get to it, and there's graffiti all inside of the house, and I'm like, what the hell? There's no flooring. There's, you can see the subfloor. There's graffiti inside. I'm talking to. She was a nurse, and I just gave up, David. I just gave up. I just can't. These kids. I'm like, it was horrible. So I kept feeling something on my leg, and I'm looking, and the place was horrible. And I'm looking down, and a dog was humping my leg. I'm like, what the hell? The dog was humping my leg as I was trying to do a listing appointment. That is an area you don't want to. You don't want to. Maybe I don't know, but that may not be that may not be the move for you. So so there is such a thing as deal, but you got to think about your family. You got to think about when I invest into a home, I try to put myself as a potential buyer for that home. If like for instance, if I was to buy something around USF, I would say, if I was a student at USF, would I live here? The answer is yes or no. If it's yes, then I would continue thinking if the numbers are good. If it's no, then I'll just move on. If I'm a young family, single mom, will I live here? And again, that is kind of how one of the litmus tests that I use when I decide on if I'm going to invest in a certain area.
I'm happy you mentioned that, because a friend of mine, we talked about this. He manages Caleb McLaughlin, the kid that was in the Netflix show. Now I can't even remember. But anyway, and we were talking about how important is it from a respect level for us we as Black people, instead of us moving to the suburbs, to stay in our hood and redevelop it. Because I find that I believe folks like yourself who are real estate developers, and I love the fact that you're doing a corner class, because this allows us to really build up our respect in the neighborhoods, whether it's East Tampa, whether it's Suitcase City, or whatever case may be, to really own our neighborhoods and have respect for our neighborhoods.
Right.
How do we do that before it gets, like, to Kevin's point, gentrified, because other people see the value in it based off of the location. They understand what the development is about to be within overall Tampa, but we who are living there, like you said, with the dog humping your leg, the graffiti on the thing, how do we get the patience or the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm going to stick to it and make it work? What do we need to do, David?
Yeah, it's difficult because that's a mindset shift. You know, it really is. Unfortunately, we are more apt, we as in Black people, we talk about Black and brown, are more apt to put something on our back and something in you know, than go to a home that provides us a stable place to live and also can give equity. It really is a difficult thing. And that's why a lot of people see value in where we are more than we do. I mean, yes, they've probably seen the master plan, and yes, they probably have kind of thought about, well, if downtown area is building out, and the price per square foot for downtown it was 200, now it's 600, and think about, well, what does that mean? Well, that means that the people who cannot afford $600 a square foot is now going to be buying around downtown, which will drive up their costs. Well, what does that mean? Well, the people that are around downtown have to go further out, which will drive up other people's costs. So they're coming out to you. I live just outside of Ybor. I've been here 11 years. I bought this property as an investment property. And I've seen astronomical growth in the equity of my home. I don't even want to mention it on this show, but astronomical. It's because people in downtown cannot no longer afford downtown. Now they're in Tampa Heights. Well, the people in Tampa Heights can now offer a premium for their prices for their home, and now they're further out. Now they're in Ybor. Now they're in VM Ybor. Now they're in the outskirts, Seminole Heights areas and that type of area. So when a person that live in that area, there's a lot of untapped value in their home, and they just don't see it. And again, education, mindset, that type of thing. And I think that's the hardest thing. I mean, it's difficult to change a habit that has been instilled through generations. That's a hard thing to change. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that Corner Class Tampa can help with that. I'm hoping that if they hear the message from me and others, it's not just me, there's a bunch of people out there, hopefully, and over time they would say, well, maybe it's better that I change this habit and defer this gratification to get something and build a legacy for my home, for my family, leave something to my kids. Mm-hmm. Use this equity in this home to jumpstart my dream. If you look at back in the old 50s, 40s, even in the old movies that depict that, it was always mama house that was used to the equity in their home to either start someone's dream or bail somebody out of the jail. But the point I'm making is mama owned her house. Mm-hmm. Big mama owned her house. So she can use that equity for whatever no one owning. Now there's a certain generation that don't feel that they should own. They feel that the flash and dash, that feels that I should be putting stuff on my back and showing these that I have wealth without being wealthy, without owning nothing. And so again, I really feel that's a mindset change, and all we can do is provide voices, and hopefully over time it will sink in.
Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time. Yeah. Actually, we in overtime. I know my boss, Mr. Bezel, is like, "Come on, man, come on." We might have to do a part 2 to this or something, because I would definitely want to highlight your multiple streams of income and how did you come about building that, because that's also another mindset
and more on the classes and how people can sign up, how do they do it, where they can do it, when, all that detail could be.
Well,
yeah,
I
we didn't
think
even
we're going to do that
talk
right
we
now.
didn't even talk about my new school.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about it. Maybe, yeah.
We might have to do a part. Can you do a part 2 next week?
Whenever you want to invite me, brother, I'll make sure.
You know what? Let's do a part 2 next week. Let's do a part 2 next week, because we want to tap into all of that, because I think this is a huge opportunity. This is Black History Month. You are doing your thing here in Tampa Bay, a veteran.
You're making history.
And you making history here in Tampa Bay. But in the meantime, give us a quick 60-second commercial of Carmina Enterprises Inc.
Awesome. So Carmina Enterprises Inc. is really a holding company for a series of 7 companies, all in the real estate space. And what we're trying to do and what we're doing is being competitive, each company being competitive all around the real estate transaction. So we have a company that we started off, we're an investment-based company. So we started off with investments, property management, holdings, working with investors. That's where I cut my teeth at. But over time, we built, as a broker, I became a broker of Carmina Associates Realty Group, which is a traditional buy and hold real estate. We have a company that does fix and flips. We have a company that does new builds. We have a couple other companies, and then that we're going to talk about maybe next time. I have a training company all around the real estate space. And when you think about multiple companies, you want to have a company that can tell your story. So I have a company that is a marketing and entertainment company that kind of tells the story for all the companies. So that's us. We all in the real estate space. We all are affiliates of each other. That's Carmina Associates Enterprise.
Wow. Excellent. How do people do business with you? What's the phone number, email, contact, and then we're going to wrap this up and tie this in a bow.
Awesome. The best thing to do is each company market separately. And the best way to do is to go Google Carmina and Associates Realty Group if you're looking for standard real estate stuff. But if you're looking for investing on the investment side, 813-321-0817, 813-321-0817. That comes directly to me, and I'll help you out.
All right. Yo, another great power moves. We played my man Loyalty. We're going to play the clean version starting next week, because it's all about that loyalty and respect. And I got loyalty to my man right here, David. And we're going to do part 2 next week to talk about the big moves that he's making all across the state of Florida. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you next week, baby. We out.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.